Welcome back to Coronation Street. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Kym Marsh, how are you?
Hello, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I don't know how we haven't spoken before because, I mean, you've been around so long and so successful, and here we are at Coronation Street, and it's not like you're here by pity. You're here because people really love you in this role, and you've made it your own. You bring charm and warmth and beauty to it. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. That's really kind. I feel good now.
Is it surprising to you? Because there you are, a pop singer, and now you are on the UK's most popular soap that everybody loves and really cares about. It's an amazing trajectory, your career, really.
It is really. It's funny now because a lot of people forget that I used to be a singer. People go, oh yeah, you used to be in Hearsay, didn't you? You know, and that's kind of seems to have kind of faded into the background, which is great because obviously I want people to recognise me for being an actress as well. So that's, yeah, it's funny when people forget. It's quite funny.
I guess it's a tough role, Coronation Street, because you've got to be relatable. This is a Manchester soap after all. You can't come in all fur coat and no knickers because they won't fall for that. But at the same time, you've got to deliver it. And I wonder what pressure was on you in the beginning to remember your lines and not let people down. I mean, you must have felt great pressure because there's all these stars you've watched on telly for 20 years.
Yeah, gosh, it was a real pressure when I first started. I was obviously very aware of the fact that everybody didn't really know me for being an actress, so I had the pressure of people thinking, oh, is she going to fall flat on her face, is she going to be any good, you know. There's obviously that. And then obviously when I did start here, it was a case of I didn't want to mess up and I didn't want anyone here to think, why is she on the show, you know. So yeah, of course it was pressure, of course it was. But you know what? Here, everybody welcomed me and everyone made me feel really relaxed. So that part of it was really easy in that sense. It was just the other bit that I felt quite nervous about. But I've been really fortunate because people have kind of accepted it and have allowed me to carve a career in acting. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a huge risk, not just for me, but for Steve November, who was at the helm when he took me on as well. You know, he was the producer at the time, and I am aware that, you know, ITV and everyone at Coronation Street did take a risk in taking me on because it could have been a disaster. However, I did audition for my part and I did kind of, you know, beat several of the girls, so, you know, not physically beat them. So that would be weird. But yeah,
criminal,
so,
in fact.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you know, I hopefully I was recognised for my talent, and you know, and that's history.
And as we sit here today in September 2016, I look at the situation you're in on screen, not what you're filming right now. We'll get to that in a bit. And I asked Simon the question earlier, Steve McDonald, would he really get you in real life? Because there does seem to be an imbalance.
Have you seen Simon's actual wife, though? She's beautiful. I love Simon. He's gorgeous. He's like a teddy bear. He's very cute. I actually had a poster of Simon Gregson on my wall when I was younger, which is so weird. And several other girls that have been in the show, Hayley Tamerden being one of them, also did. So he was a real heartthrob back in the day. So now he's just a throb.
Well, I don't want to think about his throb, if you don't mind. But what he has got, as I told him earlier, he has that magnificent comic timing. And for you to play off that, I guess, once again, is brilliant because he kind of steals the scenes when he's in them. But also you've got to live up to them, and you do beautifully. You have to match him in that sort of matriarch way, don't you? Is it not a competition, because that would be negative, but is there something sort of combative in acting with him that you've got to keep up?
Not really. I mean, you know, sometimes it's really difficult, and I have to laugh, and as do Jane Danson's been working with him a lot more recently, and she's just said, Kym, I really have no idea how you do it, and it is like a skill. You know, I've learned this skill now, and you know, sometimes I have to look just slightly past him so that I can't actually see his face. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because Simon's obviously always coming out with the gags and doing the silly things, and Michelle is kind of the straight man. She's the one that kind of has to be serious and everything, and serious enough for the both of them. But no, not in that sense. No, there's no kind of combat in that sense at all. We just kind of like to try and compliment each other and think how we can make it funnier, you know, and whether that's just Simon doing something silly or if I kind of give him a look in some way. And we really enjoy working together. Well, we've worked together on and off for 10 years, so
And I guess it is tricky because in this show it gets laborious. Let's face it, it is a job. You're turning up every day, you're learning lines. There might be different lines, but they're still lines. If you're not having fun on set, we're going to see it. And especially with you two, you are the fun couple of the whole show, and sort of the drive, certainly right now, of the comedy and the tragedy at the same time. And there you are, sat in the dark, not really knowing what's going on. Give us a clue as to how this is all going to resolve. You've got to find out because it's Coronation Street.
Well, you would think so. I can't tell you. What I can say is that there's definitely going to be a bit of a journey, and there's going to be a lot of drama, and possibly some heartache as well, I would think. So, but you know what's great about this show is that there will be all of that, and there may well be some tears, and there may well be some drama and all the rest of it, but there will also be somewhere a comedy thing going on. If you watch The Street regularly, as I'm sure you do, you'll always notice that even when something really bad's happening and something terrible's happening, there's always a comedy element going on somewhere else, and I think that's the genius of it, really. So no one ever feels too bad.
Well, they're the bits I love, the zingers from Norris or whatever, even if it's just 4 seconds, you know, his Daily Mail sticking through the letterbox, he'll always have a little line somewhere. And then, of course, there's Bev Callard, who you're playing with as well, which works beautifully. I mean, the chemistry between you two on screen is sensational. And again, she's got that sort of stiff upper lip sense about her in the show, but a great fun person to work with.
Oh, she's amazing. I mean, when we first started working together, it was kind of heading down the road of Liz not really liking Michelle, and then what we loved is that actually that turned around, and now Michelle is like the daughter that Liz never had, you know, and we like the fact that, you know, Liz loves Michelle, and there isn't that kind of squabbling that you would expect, as she did with Karen MacDonald and, you know, and all the other millions of wives that he's had.
He's been around the houses, hasn't he, really?
He has a bit,
Stopped in most of them.
He's a right little one, isn't he? Yeah, so, you know, we like that. Although, again, Beverly's such a giggler on set. She's so funny, especially if we have to do any serious scenes where I have to tell her someone's died or something. She just can't hold it together. She just laughs. And it's like such an unfunny scene, and we're both wetting ourselves laughing. It's terrible. We get shouted at sometimes.
Yeah, Simon was telling me about that earlier. Does it ever become normal when you walk around here and this one's passing you that way? I mean, and today there are people, I won't give it away, but there are people dressed in strange things and have strange makeup on. You do still double take, don't you? Because even though we know who they are and you might know them personally, it's still odd to see someone you watching last night on the telly who's covered in blood or whatever.
Well, it was for me. It's not so much now, because obviously I've been here a long time, and, you know, these are my friends now as well as my colleagues, and I think but in the beginning, you know, it was very odd. I remember sitting in the green room, like my first week being here, and seeing Bill Roach for the first time and going, "It's Ken Barlow, oh my God," you know, and it kind of took a while for it to sink in, really. And the first time I ever shot Christmas on the cobbles and see, like, outside Dev's shop with all the kind of Christmas trees, and kind of standing there thinking, this is so weird, because I used to watch this. Even I remember one of my youngest memories, my mum never wanted to miss Coronation Street, so she sometimes would get the washing up bowl and give me a wash by the fire so she didn't miss it, rather than take me for a bath.
Ah, northern upbringing.
Yeah, exactly.
What's it like being you? I mean, I sat there last night doing the research, and you put your name in, and there's 45 billion different pages about you. They never seem to get bored with you, your story, your face, what you're wearing, where you're going, who you're with, who you're not with, who you were with, who you might be with, what you're doing tomorrow. Does that ever become normal? It's extraordinary. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre, really. There is some kind of real interest in everything, and I have no idea why, to be honest. And it is a bit weird. It is very weird. It is normal in a sense of it doesn't really affect me in the way that it used to, because obviously sometimes things that get written about you are completely incorrect and can be quite upsetting. And I used to kind of get to a point where it would get to me, or it would get to my family or whatever. And now I just kind of learn to take it on the chin and go, well, you know, it's just one of those things. And it's funny because, you know, if I read an inaccurate story about me, or if I read something and I'm supposed to have done something or had an outburst somewhere, or whatever, and it makes me laugh, because I just think, do you know what? Nobody actually really knows me, apart from the people that I, you know, surround myself with. And I actually quite like that, because it's just like, you know, people are just making fairy tales up.
Well, and it's liberating in a way, in a sense that the people who matter care and will like you regardless, and those who perhaps have an opinion about you that's born out of lies, it really is irrelevant.
Well, to be honest, I mean, some people you just never please anyway. You know, if someone decides they just dislike you, then they're going to dislike you, whether you're, you know, saving babies or whether you're, you know, murdering someone. They're going to dislike you anyway. So you can't live your life for that, really. You've just got to kind of get on with it and keep your head down, do your job, and hopefully do it to the best of your ability.
I think what's strange about you, we're about the same age, is that when we see you with your family now, it's extraordinary because we imagine you to have little children, and they're not. They're grown up. I was just watching Loose Women the other week, and there you are with Emily, your daughter, who now is embarking on her own music career and doing very well at it. Is it bizarre that you've got grown-ups walking around the house who are as sentient as you are?
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, you know, I have one little one. I have Polly, who's 5, and she's just started year 1 in primary school. So she's kind of, again, that she seems to be growing up really quickly, and she's so funny. She's literally the light of our lives. She's so funny, and she's naughty as well, which is another story. But yeah, I mean, it's not weird, obviously, because obviously they've been my children since they were born, so obviously it's not weird in that sense. But yeah, in certain ways, you know, when I see David, who's now 21, you know, looking after Polly, and I see the size, you know, David's 6'1" and Polly's like tiny little 3 foot, you know, and you look at him and think they're brother and sister. They look like father and daughter. It's really weird. And so in that sense, yes, it is quite odd. But do you know what? They are wonderful, and they're my best friends, and we have such a fantastic relationship. You know, they tell me everything, and we share everything, and we go places together, and they still love kind of doing stuff with Mum. And I'm taking my son on safari next year for his birthday, because he was 21 this year, and all he wanted to do was just go on safari, but just with me. So it's like, you know, we do have that really nice kind of bond. And of course, Emily, you know, she's just a chip off the old block, really, isn't she? She was always like that, though. She's, from being, you know, 5 or 6, she's always wanted to be kind of the centre of attention and doing dance classes and anything that got her in the limelight, really. And now, you know, obviously she's been singing since she was 8, and now she's just got this dance track out, which we found out today actually is number 14 in the music chart and the Music Week club charts today. So we're very excited about that.
What pressure is there on her to be almost anywhere near as good as you, because you're so successful, and of course your trajectory and your fame, I mean, we think about the Hearsay days and all of that. I was on the radio at the time, and you were the one to get, similar to when the Spice Girls were in. It was that level of sort of adoration, and you were a pop star. There's a lot for her to live up. Do you kind of tell her that it might not be that big or that successful, but even so, you will still have done well, because you can't really compare. Show business is so brutal, isn't it?
Well, I think she knows that. I mean, she's seen what's happened to me over the years, you know, and my journey. And at the same time, she also knows that it's a very different journey that I went on to the one that she's on. You know, when I went into pop stars, I was 24 with 2 kids. She's just starting out. You know, she's only 18, and she's already got this dance track out in the charts at the moment, and she's, you know, doing gigs in Ibiza and all sorts of other things. It's madness, you know, and so her journey is a very different one to mine, and I don't think she feels pressure in that sense, because she knows that what I did was quite a unique experience, and she isn't expecting to kind of just be, you know, out there and become number 1 overnight. She knows how much hard work goes into it, and she knows what to expect, and she knows, you know, that she has to take the rough with the smooth, and I think that can only be a good thing for her.
When you look back at your career now, I mean, you must be incredibly proud, because you're still here. Most aren't. Have you put your finger on why the public chose you? Because you can't convince the public to like you. They either do or they don't. They either follow you or they won't follow you, and they stay with you or they leave you. Have you analysed that, or do you just leave that to the karmic gods?
Do you know something? Anyone that knows me will always say that I'm completely unaffected, and I'm always been the girl next door, always have been, and I pride myself on that. You know, I'm very... we have a very normal family life, and I think people may recognise that in me. I'm nothing special. I'm just someone who got lucky, who has some talent, and was kind of smiled upon, really, and given the opportunity to be where I am, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I think maybe people realise that about me, perhaps.
Is it tough now getting to the age where you say your son's 21, your daughter's 18, and they're going to go off and live their life because your life has been consumed for 21 years by your son and 18 years by your daughter, and then they have to go and do their thing? I guess that's always the fear I have of being a father, is that they're eventually going to go away and you have to deal with that because that's the circle of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but they're not showing any signs of cutting the apron strings right now. I've got to say, there's no sign of my son moving anywhere. He knows which side his bread is buttered. I honestly think that it's going to be a little while before either of them fly the nest. Perhaps Emily before David, to be honest, because she is very independent and she has got kind of dreams of going here, there and everywhere. As David is very much doesn't like to be in the limelight. He's doing, earning a trade and very solid working boy and, all the rest of it. And is very much a home bird, David. Whereas Emily's a little bit more fly by the seat of her pants, a bit like me. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I think when the day comes when they do, I think I will feel like my life is over. I think I'll just be like, now what? What do I do? But obviously I've still got Polly, who is 5 and is more than a handful. So I think if you think I'm going to have Polly for at least another 15 years living at home.
So perhaps in another 5 years you can have another one. How about that?
No. I've done my bit for motherhood. Thank you.
And then very finally, we look at you and your private happiness. Again, I put in last night your name and pictures come up. We love to follow you privately. Is that uncomfortable, or do you just go, now, listen, they're going to want to know who I'm dating, who I'm with and I'm not with, let it go?
There's always been a bit of I don't know what to say, how to describe it, but a bit of a kind of fascination with my love life. And, Kym's been married twice. Yeah, Kym's been married twice. Once I was with for 7 years and one husband for 5, and both didn't work out for very different reasons. But, I'm not really sure what that fascination is, really. And yes, people do kind of talk and all the rest of it. I think more so now with my current relationship, because I don't really talk about our personal life together, because I've made that mistake in the past and I kind of have talked a little bit too much in depth about it, whereas me and Matthew like to keep ourselves really to ourselves, so no one really knows too much about it, and it's working, so there you go, touch wood.
And I think we love you. I think that's why. I think when the public like you and care about you, they want you to be happy, and I suppose that's where the press will only print what the public want to read, because once the public are bored, they don't want to print it anymore. So I guess there's a backhanded compliment there somewhere. Yeah,
there must be. There must be somewhere along the way. But yeah, I am aware that, this is the life that I chose, and I'm very happy with my job and I'm very happy with where I am professionally. And I think if that's what the price I have to pay, for some kind of press intrusion into my life because of the job that I do, then so be it, because I love what I do. So.
And what a remarkable career it's been. To think if I'd have interviewed you at Popstars, to think then I'd have been saying to you 15 years later you'd be sat at Coronation Street. It's amazing, isn't it? Because I guess you're like me. I grew up watching this and you're the star of it. It's remarkable.
Thank you. Well, it is a bit of an amazing journey. And the weird thing was that, when I auditioned for Popstars, I actually auditioned at the old Coronation Street studios. Wow. So I kind of went full circle, really. It was really bizarre. But I would never have believed it. And the only thing I wish is that my grandparents had been alive to see, because they loved Coronation Street, so it would have been nice for them to see it. But yeah, and I would never have believed it. But I'm so happy here. I really feel like I've found my home. So
the wit that you have in the show is so remarkable, and you play off Steve in the programme beautifully. And I think that alchemy behind the bar, they took a long time to get that right, really, didn't they? And there was a lot of changes, and that doesn't seem to me, I don't know, that it's going anywhere. Will you remain behind the bar, do you think, in the foreseeable future?
For the foreseeable, yes, but who knows what's round the corner.
Oh, you're not doing that soap tease thing where you're now getting me nervous.
Listen, you just have to keep watching.
Are you going to be working with Norris before we know it behind the counter?
That's the next love affair. How strange you should have said that.
Kym Marsh, great to talk to you. Your daughter's single is available now. Where can people find it?
You can download it from any of the sites, iTunes or Spotify, any of those.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you, you too.